So, hello YouTube, welcome back to another weekly outlook series. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I'm doing great. And so I hope you guys had a nice week of March. I mean, for me personally, March so far has been a little bit slow. I think this first 2 weeks in the markets have been a little bit slow. Maybe also it's because I've been a little bit busy outside. But I think some of the news that happened during this week will kind of set the tone for what most likely is going to happen during the weeks ahead. So I think we will have more momentum in the markets from this third and fourth week of the month of March. So nothing is lost. So if some of you guys are still haven't caught a nice trade or are down on a challenge, no worries, right? I mean, we still have 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks a lot can happen, right? So I mean, I always tell people, like, outcomes and how the market moves, those things are absolutely outside of our control. We have no control how the market moves. We can't force price to do something we want. I mean, we can't force our will onto the markets, right? We just need to make sure that we have a good system, and that system is composed of rules, and we come to the markets only to follow these rules. For how we follow the rules is absolutely inside the circle of our control, right? So as a trader, never focus on the money, never focus on the outcome, focus on following the rule to the T, and eventually the numbers will play out in your favor. Okay, so if some of you guys are still struggling a little bit, make sure to focus on the rules, make sure to work a little bit on the system, try to tweak, but more importantly is never to focus on the outcome, focus on the system. All right, so let's just hop on the outlook real quick. We're gonna start with EURUSD. Right here is the daily, but let's just quickly go to the weekly time frame. Today we're not going to the monthly because I know a lot of people already know what's going on. The monthly, everything is bearish, but as an intraday trader, as I see most people are, even a scalper, you really don't need the monthly. I think weekly is all good, weekly, daily. So if we look at what's going on EURUSD, on the weekly, we had this change of character. Price came to this monthly supply zone, and then it gave us this weekly change of character to the downside. Now price comes back, respects the weekly supply, and starts to move to the downside. So our expectation is to see price to continue that bearish push towards the previous low and maintain the overall bearish on the flow on the weekly, right? So this is the weekly. We can drop down, for example, to daily time frame. So on the daily, we want to say, okay, price comes to my weekly supply zone. We have a daily change of character. Price comes to a weekly supply zone. What are we expecting? We're expecting price to come down, right? Now, also, we have this supply zone sitting above right here, right? This is a significant one because we also have, this actually was the catalyst move. Once price tapped into that weekly supply zone, we had this V-shaped recovery and it left imbalance. So there is a possibility that price may decide to pull back up into this supply zone, right? But at first, we're monitoring the initial reaction that it has had at this supply zone. So far, price has respected. We can see this bearish push right here, which is a significant, reaction at that supply zone. So price comes to my daily supply zone. You guys already know I want to drop down to the hourly, right? So we want to monitor the hour. It can be 4 hour or 2 hour. So let's look at, for example, 2 hours time frame. What's going on? When price came, as price was making its way towards that daily supply zone, we had this high, then we had this low. Then price had made this high and then this low and finally made this high, and before we had the change of character. So on the hourly, we had this change of character. Price then pulled back to respect the supply zone responsible for the change of character and then starts to move to the downside. So on the hourly, we have that shift in structure that we have gone from bullish to bearish, right? So that's how you're making a story on a pair from higher time frame. As an intraday trader, start from the daily, then go to hourly, then you will go to medium time frames such as M15 and M30 so you can actually have more confidence to take your lower time frame trades with high probability, right? So up to this point, if you look what's going on is the hourly is bearish, the order flow is bearish. Now price came into this extreme demand zone right here, which was this previous, we had this high, this low, and then this high. So price had broken structure, left this demand zone and mitigated, and price just came and respected that demand zone. Now what I'm expecting to see on Euro USD is, okay, this demand zone is holding. I would love to see some pullbacks, right, towards this supply zone before we have that continuation to the downside, right? Now, this is price making its way towards the hourly supply zone. So now what am I waiting? For example, on the medium time frame, I want to see that change of character to the upside, right? That sign that, okay, price is more likely going to start that move towards the upside, at least towards this supply zone before we have the continuation. So price comes into this hourly refined demand zone. Let's drop down to medium time frame. I can use, for example, M20, which is the same thing as M15, M30, right? And I can see something interesting is that once price came here, it gave me the change of character to the upside. So we have this low, we have this high, and then we had this low. So up to this point, the structure was bearish. Then we have a change of character. Price just came into this demand zone right here, and now we're expecting push to the upside, right? We want to see that second break of structure, which just confirms the overall bullish order flow shift, that we have shifted from bearish to bullish. So up to this point, price comes to my M15 or M20, which is our medium time frame. I can now drop down to lower time frames and look for buys. So that's what I'll be looking for when the market's open. I'm going to be monitoring what's going to be the reaction. Maybe I may catch a buy position all the way up into this supply zone. So that's how basically you make a story. Start from the high time frame daily, come to 4 hours or 2 hours, then go to medium time frame before you even drop to lower time frame. That's going to make your lower time frame trades high probability. Okay, let's move to the next pair. Now, Aussie dollar, we're going to start from the weekly as well. I think the weekly time frame intention is very clear that it's, we can see right here, it's bearish, right? We had a break, pull back, break, mitigation. Then we have this wall, this just bearish chain right here. So it's been a very clear bearish intention on Aussie dollar. We can drop down, for example, to the daily time frame. We can see that we had this nice change of character. Price just came into this daily supply zone, and now we're expecting that move to the downside to probably take out these lows right here. So we have this low, we have this low as well, but this is like the swing low that we want to see price coming later. Now price comes to a daily supply zone. What am I looking for? Hourly, right? So we want to always do we want to follow that order. Daily, we go to hour before we go to medium time frame, which is M15, M20, M30, before we go to lower time frames. All right, so here we are on the 2 hours time frame. We had a nice change of character. Price then pulled back to mitigate. Then we have a second break of structure. So what I'm waiting for is a pullback on Aussie dollar towards the supply zone before we continue to move to the downside. Right? That's simple as that. Now, how I can look for buys on the lower time frames, but for that I need the medium time frame, at least an M15 change of character to the upside. So up to this point, we haven't had a significant change of character. Price actually came with a weak break, so I would love to see a body break above this previous high. That actually will tell me that most likely we're going to see price continue to move to the upside, because this failure to close above this could have been an bullish sentiment in the market in depletion, right? So I would love to see price still coming up to close above. That would give me more confidence to take a buy all the way up to that supply zone on the 4 hour, right? So that's it for the dollar. Let's move to the next pair. GU, we're gonna look at it from the weekly as well. The intention is very clear on the weekly. Price actually had tapped this monthly supply zone, gave us a weekly change of character. Price returned to the weekly supply zone, and now we're expecting price to come all the way down to take out the weekly previous low. Now price comes to my weekly supply. I'm going down to the daily time frame. I want to understand what's going on the daily. If I look at the structure on daily, I think it's very clear to see that the structure is still bullish up to this point, right? Because we made this high, then this low, then we had this major break, and this actually was the low responsible for breaking the previous high. So daily, up to this point, daily still having a pullback all the way down to this demand zone. So daily still, the overall structure on daily is still bullish, but daily is having a pullback. So that means that on hourly, medium time frame, everything is going to be bearish. So we drop down, for example, to 2 hours time frame. We want to look what's going on the 2 hour, and we can see clearly we had a nice change of character here. That was the sign that daily is starting a pullback. Price pulled back into this demand supply zone, but I still see a lot of relative equal highs, and then broke structure again. So I'm still waiting to see if we're gonna have a pullback. I would love to see a pullback on this towards this supply zone, and then I can look for sales all the way down to the daily demand zone. So that's what I'm looking for once the market opens on GU. Okay, so let's move to the next pair. Our next pair is New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar has been a little bit tricky for me lately. I haven't really looked much at also New Zealand dollar, but the overall high time frame is very clear, very clean. We can see this weekly price action that we had a break, mitigation, second break. Price just came into that extreme supply zone on the weekly, and now we're seeing that push all the way down. So we expect price to come all the way down, taking out this weekly previous low to maintain the overall weekly bearish order flow. Okay, so we drop down to the daily time frame now. We want to see, okay, what's going on with our guy New Zealand dollar. Let me use the 8-hour time frame real quick. We had a nice reaction here. We had a break, mitigation, second break. Price came into that supply zone. Now it's making its way down. Now we drop down, for example, to 4 hour, which is still the hourly, right? We had this, I should say, 4 hour internal structure, right? We had this break, price came back to the supply zone, respected, and then it started to push down. So now my expectation is to see New Zealand dollar coming all the way down, continue that bearish pressure to take out this 4 hour previous low right here, and then ultimately take out this swing low. Now, in order for me to take a sell, for example, if I want to ride the bearish pressure to the downside, that bearish push, this is the 4 hour. I need to drop down to what? Medium time frame. So let me go to M20, for example. So I come to M20 and I'm seeing something interesting. I say, okay, the structure right here is bearish. I'm having that bearish order flow. So I see the break, price mitigated, right? And then break of structure. So I can see that the medium time frame is still bearish. So I'm gonna wait for what? I'm gonna wait for a pullback on New Zealand dollar towards this supply zone. Then I'm gonna wait for my change of character here, my, our confirmation on lower time frame. Then I can take the sell all the way down into this 4 hour previous low. It's simple as that. Always make sure to have that relationship between the 4 hour medium time frame before you go to lower time frame, right? So that's it for New Zealand dollar. Let's go to the next pair. Now our next pair is going to be GJ. It's a nice pair. I actually like GJ. It does move very well. So if we look at GJ, we can clearly see, just looking at, for example, let me use the 2 days time frame just to filter the complexities. We have a nice demand zone right here. I could even refine to this one right here. So that's a demand zone that is sitting right here below. We have loads of imbalance, so that could be one of the reasons as why price may want to pull back all the way down. So I'm expected to see some pullback all the way down to this demand zone before we have that continuation to the upside. That's on the daily. That's the daily outlook, right? The structure is bullish, so we want to expect some pullback. Now, what do I need to see first that will tell me that the daily is ready to do a pullback? I need to see the hourly to change, right? It can be 4 hour or 2 hour. So let me go to 4 hour, for example. So if I come to 4 hour, anyone can see this, right? I mean, it's very, very clear that the structure up to this point is bearish, right? We had this, if we read the structure, we had this high, we had this low, then we had this high. This was the change of character. Price came back, mitigated this supply zone, and then we have the second break of structure. Price just came into the supply zone. So price comes to my 4 hour supply zone. What am I looking for next? I'm waiting for a change of character on medium time frame, which is M15 or M20 or M30, right? So if I come down, for example, to M15, I come to M15, I can see the price up to this point has given me the change of character, right? So let me quickly push this to right here. So if we read the structure, we can see that, okay, we have this nice change of character right here. So that's the change of character on M15. We have a supply zone right here. We can refine. For some people, for example, we can go to M10, or let's go to M5, for example. M5, we have this nice candle right here, and this right here would have been the point of interest right here. So let me go to this is the M5, right? So that's the M15 change of character within that 4 hour, right? So we can see that the medium time frame has also shifted bearish. So 4 hour is bearish, medium time frame is bearish. What do we want to do on lower time frames? We want to be bearish as well. So I can go, for example, to 2 minutes time frame. Let's say if I needed to look for a sell, I will say that, okay, I want my change of character. Boom, I have the change of character. Look at this entry right here, beautiful. I could have had an entry here. We have the second break. I can look for this entry right here. That's my entry, right? I can look for this and then sell all the way down, right? So during the market open, after the market opens, London session hits, I'm gonna be looking for sell. If price continues to push down, I can look for sales all the way down, right? But the structure, the overall intention has been set on GJ, very clear. Let's move to the last pair. Now our last pair today is going to be gold. I think it is also for a while it's been our last pair, but gold is a very good one. I'm actually going to do a breakdown on a trade that I caught this week on gold. It was a beautiful one actually. I will do a breakdown. Now gold is it just hit an all-time high. I think it was last week. It was a non-stop bulls, right, all the way up. So now price, it just can keep going up forever, right? Eventually price needs to do a pullback, right? It needs to rest a little bit, I should say. So we have two breaks of structure to the upside. We have loads of imbalances sitting below, right? I mean, too many orders were put on gold to push price up. I mean, we need to have a pullback all the way down, right? So what I'm expecting on daily is a major pullback to correct the imbalances, and then we have the continuation to the upside. Now, what do I need that will tell me that the daily is about to do a pullback? I need the 4 hour, right? Very important. I need to go to 4 hour and wait for that shift in structure, right? So up to this point, if we look at the 4 hour, for example, let me even use the 2 hour time frame. We can see something right here, quite interesting, is we had this previous high, then this low, then price made the push to the upside and create this high. Now price comes to this demand zone right here. So price came to this demand zone. What are we expecting? If price is going to continue bullish, we expect price to come all the way down to take out the previous high. What happened? We started having reluctance right here. Price came, it failed to create a new high. It pulled back. Then it attempted to push up again, reluctance. So this is already telling us that the bullish sentiment in the market is in depletion, right? So maybe bears are stepping into the market, trying to push price all the way down so we can have that daily pullback. Now, this is considered a weak low because this low failed to create a high, even failed to at least violate this supply zone right here. So price respected this supply zone. We see price coming with this bearish aggression right here. We can see this aggression right here. So most likely we're going to see gold eventually breaking and starting, at least giving that overall 4 hours sign of bearish intention. So that's what I'm gonna wait on gold, right? I'm gonna remain patient for now. I'm waiting for gold to at least next week to break these lows, and then we have that major pullback towards the downside, right? So that's it, guys, for the breakdown. I hope I made the point clear with this one. I wish you guys a really nice third week of the month of March, and make sure to consistently follow your rules. Do not focus on the outcome. And I would love, before I go up, I would love to announce that I have the 40% discount on the lifetime and yearly membership. So if you guys are interested, feel free to hit my DM. I'm available all the time. So take advantage, right, of that 40% drawdown. There's a lot of good stuff on Discord. And that's it, guys. If you like the video, smash the like button for your partner right here. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'm still gonna see you guys next one. Peace.